Once you've collected your tools and you know where they're at, you're going to want to maintain them. Or if you find tools, and we'll talk about where to find them here in just a bit, in a condition that's maybe not as good as you would like, and you want to restore them, use them again, here are some tips. Before you start restoring your tools, because you're going to be working with wire brushes or solvents or something like that, the first thing you're going to want to do is we're going to want to put on our safety equipment. So, especially if you're going to be using a wire brush. So now that I've got my eyes covered, my hands covered, let's start working with the blades. Now, in this particular case, I had this nice shovel. When I first purchased this, it was a mess, covered with rust. So what I did is I used a wire brush. This is a nylon brush. I used a wire brush to remove all of the dirt, rust, anything that was on it. And then I protected it with an oil. In this particular case, I like this WD-40. It's water soluble, and it does an excellent job of keeping the tools nice and clean. Now you can see that this particular tool, you can tell where I've worked it over with the wire brush, but you can also tell that there's no accumulation of rust on this. This is stored in the back of my truck, so it has no problems maintaining itself and staying safe, clean, and usable once I have it restored. The same with my little axe here. Little bit of oil on this keeps it from rusting. Same thing with my knives and everything else. So what you're going to want to do as you're working with this material is once you get the rust off, you want to be able to keep it off. Now, there are some questions about what to use to remove rust. And this is near and dear to my heart. A lot of people swear by hydrochloric or muriatic acid. It's just not necessary. If you get yourself a nice bottle of vinegar and put these items in vinegar overnight, it will take that rust off, and you can clean them up and you can put the oil on them, and you're just not exposing yourself to any hazardous materials. Also, if you get muriatic acid on the floor in your house or in your garage, it's going to etch that concrete. In fact, if you even get full strength vinegar on the concrete, it's going to etch it. So you want to make sure that you're working with a nice plastic container and you have this contained. Take it out, wash it off. The vinegar is not going to hurt the lawn. It's not going to burn the grass, anything like that. So this is just the way to go. So if you want to remove rust, use vinegar.
Let's step away from the tool bench to take a second to thank our Mother Earth News magazine subscribers. Mother Earth News is the original Back to the Land publication, and our members have unlimited access to over 50 years and counting of practical advice for sustainable living in rural, agrarian, and urban settings. Members get a magazine every other month full of articles vetted and fact-checked by our team of editors. Our February and March 2025 issue has all the right stuff to inspire new projects for your new year. Like this first-hand report on how to build a cabin in the woods from conception to completion by Dimitra Lavakras. And how to make beeswax candles, an article by Steph Merkel, which is an installment in our column of projects that help you realize, hey, I can make that. Members also have access to Kyle Ferlemann's full course on how to assemble and maintain a toolkit on a budget, so you can start repairing instead of replacing and building instead of buying. Mother Earth News and Friends YouTube viewers get $10 off their first year, so go to bit.ly/friendsofmother. That's bit.ly/friends-of-mother for $10 off your first year. Now let's see what we can do about the rust on those tools.
Once you have the rust removed from your tools, we already talked about this, penetrating oil or WD-40 does a wonderful job of making sure that your tools are going to stay rust-free even while they're stored. This doesn't mean that it's magical and forever. If you haven't taken a look at any particular item that you have for a year or two, you're going to come back and find rust on it. So you need to visit these tools from time to time, give them a little tender love and care, and if you take care of them, these tools will last a lifetime. And while we're talking about tools that will last a lifetime, where do you keep them? Now, there's a couple of aspects that you're going to want to keep in mind for when you're storing tools. First off, let's take a look at these tools down here again. Now, this tool is kept in the back of a vehicle where the temperature changes regularly, over 100 in the summertime, well under 0 in the wintertime. But it's kept in a dry place. So keeping the moisture off this tool allows it to maintain itself. Same with this axe. So when you're storing tools, the first thing you want to do is you want to keep moisture off of them. The second thing you want to do is to control the temperature. If you can store tools in a temperature controlled environment, go ahead and do that. Most important aspect here is make sure that you have that tool where you need it. If you need it in the car, store it in the car. If you just take it out from time to time, like during camping season or hunting season, or just in the winter months, in the case of, say, tire chains, something like that, keep those items maintained, oiled, and in a temperature controlled environment until the season that you need them. So when you're getting your car ready or you're getting your toolbox ready for the upcoming season, then make those switches. Now, this may sound a little ridiculous. Wait a second, I have to prepare my toolbox for the winter? Yes, you do. You need to get your tools ready for the season that you're going to be in. This isn't quite as important for the tools that you keep in the kitchen drawer at the house. That's really not going to change. You just want to get to them from time to time and make sure that they're properly maintained. But any tool that you're going to store outside in the barn, in a shed, seasonal tools like a lawnmower, the mower blade, you're going to want to go and check those at the beginning of the season and at the end of the season. You check them at the beginning of the season to make sure they're sharp. You check them at the end of the season to make sure that they're cleaned and oiled so they can sit out there in the barn over the winter and you don't come back in the spring and find them completely covered with rust. Well, having a toolkit is just part of being prepared. And speaking about being prepared, you can find my book at Mother Earth News, Practical Preparedness. It's not the end of the world. It's not a survival book. It's a preparedness book. Check it out on MotherEarthNews.com.